What's up guys, Thomas from FT86 Speed Factory, and today we're doing a beginner's guide on everything you need to know about aerodynamic mods for your FRS, BRZ, or 86. Now to break things down, aero mods are going to give you more downforce, and with more downforce you're going to get additional grip, and with that extra grip you can go around corners a lot faster. But when you start increasing downforce, you're also going to increase drag, and drag is what's going to limit on how fast you can go around the straightaways. So it really becomes a balancing act on how much downforce and drag you can afford to lose or gain depending on what kind of track you're driving. But what exactly is downforce? Downforce uses the same principle that creates lift on an airplane, but it's applied upside down to create downforce on the car for more grip. And without getting into much detail, the rear wing is shaped in such a way that creates a high pressure on the top and a low pressure on the bottom. And the difference between these two pressures results in a downward force. There are three different applications for aero. You have street, you have show, and then you have race. Now on a street car, adding a huge rear wing is going to add a lot of drag, and that's going to make your fuel economy suffer. So for street cars, I recommend that you focus on drag reduction modifications so you can overall increase your fuel economy. Now on the other hand, we have show cars, and show cars don't really have a big priority on gas mileage, so you really can add as much aero as you want just so you can get that look you're going for. Now racing is what aero was designed for, and for slow speed courses like autocross, you're going to need a lot of aero to get the downforce benefits since there's a lot less air flowing around the car at such low speeds. And it's a good rule of thumb for autocross to either go crazy and all out with your aero or just save the money and time and not do anything at all. For track driving and especially time attack, there's a fine balance between aero. If you have a lot of downforce, it's going to be great for the corners, but you're also going to sacrifice a lot of your top end on the straightaways. And that's exactly the problem that we had at Road Atlanta with our time attack car. We were running a lot of angle on our rear spoiler, and that was significantly cutting down our top speed. But if top speed is one of the main components of your racing, say it's either a half mile or full mile drag race, or you're doing salt flat runs, reducing as much drag as possible is going to be your #1 aerodynamic goal. So now that we have that out of the way, let's start talking about the mods themselves, starting with the front splitter. Now, the front splitter mounts right below the front bumper, and this one in particular is from BRZ Motorsports, formerly known as Velox Motorsports. This will reduce drag by 1 pound and increase downforce by 43 pounds. That's 23 up front and 20 in the rear, and this actually improves the aerodynamic balance of the 86 with 60% up front and 40 in the rear. And if you plan on driving over 90 miles an hour, you're going to need the race splitter upgrade, because at that point the front splitter starts to see triple digit load numbers and it really needs the help of these support rods. But in addition to the upgrade, you also get these aero vanes that add an additional 64% of downforce while only taking a 5% penalty in drag. For your first choice, I definitely recommend going with a front splitter, but for your second choice, you can't go wrong with a rear diffuser. A rear diffuser mounts underneath the rear bumper, and the way it works is by expanding the air underneath the car as it flows out, and this creates a vacuum effect that sucks down the back end of the car. There are two versions of this rear diffuser. We have the non-aggressive version with the strakes that are flush with the bumper. We also have an aggressive version with strakes that extend past the bumper, and those longer strakes make about 3% more downforce, but that's not something most of us drivers are going to notice on the track. Now to reduce drag even further and send cleaner air to the diffuser, there is an optional rear diff cover that can be added to your order. But once you add a rear diffuser to a car that already has a front splitter, you're going to see an additional 76 pounds of downforce at 100 miles an hour. You're also going to see the aero balance shift to 51% up front and 49% in the rear. And BRZ has already done some real world testing that has shown fuel economy improvements from anywhere between 7 and 15%. So we got a splitter up front and a diffuser in the back, but in between the two, we've got all these components that disrupt airflow. Now in race cars, you'll typically find that they have flat bottoms, but that's pretty extreme for our street cars. But there are a couple products that we can use to streamline the underside of our car. The first option are the JDM under panels from Subaru. They come with 4 panels, use the pre-existing holes, and they include all the mounting hardware. And these guys cover up a significant amount underneath the car. Now the other option is BRZ's transmission tunnel cover, and the transmission tunnel is a large source of turbulence, and this will provide smooth airflow and reduce drag. They're constructed out of aluminum and they are adjustable, so they're going to fit a wide range of exhausts. Now just by adding a handful of these panels, you're gonna reduce the overall drag of the car, but more importantly, you're gonna be feeding cleaner air to the rear diffuser, making it much more efficient. Next up, we have side skirts, and while these don't make as much downforce as, say, a front splitter, they do still help. They're designed to reduce the amount of high pressure air that enters the underside of the car, and these ones from Verus or Velox have been tested to make 11 points of downforce while only increasing drag by 2. Now, one of the first things that probably comes to mind for most of you guys when you think about aero is a rear wing. And as these do look really cool, they do add a considerable amount of drag. But if you've already got a rear diffuser, you've already got a front splitter, and you need more downforce, a rear wing is the next best thing. In most cases, the bigger the wing, the more downforce you're going to make, but some wings like the SARD wing are adjustable in angle, so you can increase the angle of the wing and make more downforce, but that's also going to add in more drag as well. But when you have a large rear wing installed on the back, your aero balance is now shifted towards the rear, and what you have to do to compensate is add more aero up front. And we've got two great options for that. The first option are canards, but these are also referred to as a dive plane. This is made out of carbon fiber and they mount right here to the front bumper, and its primary job is to add more aero balance towards the front, but they also do a good job at evacuating air stuck in the wheel well. Now the other option are splitter end plates, and these are also made out of carbon fiber. They mount to the side of the bumper at the end of the splitter, and at 100 miles an hour, just these two pieces alone add 40 pounds of downforce to the front wheels. So in a nutshell, aero gives you more downforce. Downforce makes you faster in the corners, but it limits your top speed. Now if you want to check out any of the products we've talked about in this video, you can head directly to our website by clicking right here. Now if you have any questions at all, feel free to send us an email or give us a call. And if you found this video helpful, make sure you hit that like button down below. This is Thomas, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Anywhere between 7 and 15%. I almost ran out of air.